Throughout the week, the hush money trial has been proceeding, and David Pecker has been kind of the main character of this week. The head guy at the National Enquirer, big guy in the catch and kill scheme / conspiracy as it's being presented by the prosecution, has been testifying, and there's been interesting stuff coming out. One of these things is what Trump was most worried about, to get into his motivation for killing these stories. Why was he worried they would come out? Apparently, Trump feared for his campaign, not for his family, as the sex scandals were caught and killed. Now, if this just seems salacious, I understand why you would think that. And if that was the reason, I'd be perfectly happy to talk about it. But it also does go to his motivation, because some people have claimed that it's not a campaign finance violation to do the hush money payments to stop the story from coming out if you're primarily worried about saving your marriage rather than your presidency. Now, that is no longer a really relevant legal fact for this, because that's not what he's being charged for. It's not the same as Michael Cohen. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Listen, in order for the damage report to keep on going, we need viewers like you to become a member on YouTube. Can you click the join button on YouTube today? Thank you. But if you do want to understand the motivation, this certainly gets to it. And David Pecker's a guy he was talking to. He was friends with him for literally decades. And apparently, throughout his friendship, before running for president, Trump was mainly worried about his family hearing about these kinds of stories. Considerations of how it would hurt his business reputation, things like that, was not a big part of it. But in the months before the 2016 election, he really only cared about how it would affect his voters. And David Pecker testified prior to the election, but a negative story was coming out with respect to Donald Trump. And we spoke about it. He was concerned about Melania and Ivanka, what the family might hear or say about it. He did not seem to care if Tiffany lost respect for him as a result of one of these stories, only the important ones. Anyway, in the conversations with Mr. Trump about these stories, the ones now directly relevant to the case, his family was never mentioned. I thought his concern was with the campaign, and obviously enough concern that they had this ongoing relationship, that they dished out hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so that's sort of what was going on behind the scenes. We'll see what effect that has on the jury. We know that there are some facts that the jury will not hear having to do with sort of considerations around the family, like the timing of the affair, how close it was to Baron Trump being born, all of that. But this could potentially hurt him in the eyes of the jury. Brett, what do you think?
You know how I feel about this. Just overall a hush money hearing, is hilarious to me because it's just so on the nose. Catch and kill by a president and various people aligned with the president to essentially take real news and hide it, the hush money, and keep things out of the news in a time when Donald Trump himself laments fake news. That's the gift that keeps on giving. This is basically, he's actively, a guy who's so against fake news is wildly for eliminating real news.
Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.